Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, who changed music forever. Welcome back to Mystic America. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary life of a woman whose voice became the heartbeat of a generation, a voice that carried power, pain, and pride. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover how one preacher's daughter from Detroit redefined American music and became known around the world as the Queen of Soul. Before Beyoncé, before Whitney, before Mariah, there was Aretha Franklin. Her voice wasn't just heard, it was felt. It stirred revolutions, inspired movements, and demanded respect. But behind the glory was a journey filled with struggle, faith, and fierce determination. Aretha Louise Franklin was born on March 25, 1942, in Memphis, Tennessee. Her father, C.L. Franklin, was a Baptist minister in Detroit, a man so powerful in the pulpit that his sermons were recorded by chess records. Her mother, Barbara, was a gospel singer and pianist, and music seemed to pulse through Aretha's veins from birth. But life wasn't easy. When Aretha was just 6, her parents separated. 4 years later, her mother died, a devastating loss that shaped her young heart and voice. Growing up in her father's church, Aretha sang gospel with raw emotion, performing in front of congregations that instantly recognized her as something rare, a voice touched by divinity. At just 14, she released the gospel sound of Aretha Franklin, an album that captured the fire and soul of a girl who seemed born to sing. But Aretha wanted more. With her father's blessing, she decided to step beyond the church walls and into the world of secular music. At 18, she moved to New York City and signed with Columbia Records under the legendary producer John Hammond, who had discovered Billie Holiday. But her first few years were a struggle. She sang jazz, blues, Broadway ballads, but no one quite knew what to do with her. Her voice was powerful, but Columbia didn't know how to harness it. That all changed in 1966 when Aretha switched to Atlantic Records. There, producer Jerry Wexler gave her what no one else had: freedom. Freedom to choose her songs, her musicians, and her sound. And when Aretha Franklin was finally free, the world was never the same. Her first Atlantic single, I Never Loved a Man, The Way I Love You, exploded onto the charts. Then came Respect, a song originally written by Otis Redding, transformed by Aretha into a declaration of power, pride, and equality. It became an anthem, not just for women, but for the civil rights movement. With one word, respect, Aretha Franklin demanded a seat at the table for an entire generation. Hit after hit followed. Think, Chain of Fools, You Make Me Feel Like, A Natural Woman. Songs that fused gospel, blues, and soul with unmatched emotional depth. Aretha wasn't just singing about love and heartbreak. She was singing about freedom, about strength, about being unapologetically herself. By the early 1970s, Aretha's fame was global. She performed at the Fillmore West in San Francisco before a crowd of flower children, toured Europe and Latin America, and returned to her gospel roots with the landmark album Amazing Grace in 1972. Recorded live in a Los Angeles church, it remains one of the greatest gospel albums ever made. But even legends face storms. As the disco era took over in the late 1970s, Aretha's sound fell out of fashion. For a while, the Queen of Soul faded from the charts. But in the 1980s, she made a triumphant comeback with Arista Records, powered by songs like Jump to It and Freeway of Love. Her crown was never lost, only waiting to shine again. And shine it did. In 1987, Aretha became the first woman ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Honors poured in: the Kennedy Center Honor, the National Medal of Arts, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She performed for kings, presidents, and pop stars. But her proudest moment came in 2009 when she sang My Country 'Tis of Thee at Barack Obama's inauguration. Her voice, the voice of America's struggle and triumph, rang out over a crowd of more than 1 million people. Even in her later years, Aretha continued to mesmerize. In 2015, she stunned the world once more with her emotional performance of A Natural Woman at the Kennedy Center Honors, moving even Carole King and President Obama to tears. On August 16, 2018, Aretha Franklin passed away in Detroit at the age of 76. The world mourned, but her music, her spirit, lived on. From gospel choirs to the Grammys, from church pews to the halls of power, Aretha Franklin remains eternal, a symbol of strength, soul, and freedom. She once said, "Be your own artist, and always be confident in what you're doing. If you're not going to be confident, you might as well not be doing it." And that confidence, that fire, made her not just the Queen of Soul, but a queen forever. Thanks for watching Mystic America. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible journeys into the lives of America's most legendary figures. Because here on Mystic America, we don't just tell stories, we bring history to life.